What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to be remaking a video that I've already made. This is the second time I'm making this video for you guys because this has happened before in the past. But before we get into this video, guys, if you like this sort of content, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. I like to hear you guys' feedback. Like, comment, whatever you guys want to do if you feel obliged to. But I hope you're having a good week, and thanks for tuning in. But without further ado, let's get into this, guys. So another, low-key development on the Pokemon Center in the UK. Paradox and Temporal are both, again, out of stock, right? It was my opinion that it was a bit of a small restock. I don't think it was a reprint by any stretch, but it definitely gave people enough opportunity to try and get something at MSRP, a booster box at MSRP now. And, guys, let's be honest, two like semi-decent sets, not the best sets in the era by any stretch, but, if you compare the artwork against, older sets, all the first original Sword and Shield sets, they're better sets. You compare it against Vivid Voltage, Darkness Ablaze, Rebel Clash, Sword and Shield base, they're better sets without a question. And if you're comparing it to the Scarlet and Violet era, yeah, maybe they're down the lower end of where people want to be buying stuff at. Are people waking up excited about opening Paradox Rift Temporal sort of every day? I would say no, but there are some cards in these sets which do stand out to me and do make a sort of investment case worthwhile. And that is sometimes what's important is not always chasing this hype. If there's an opportunity to buy something at MSRP, it's a booster box premium. It's hard to get booster boxes today, right? It just is, and I feel like it's going to be that way for a very long time. It's definitely looking that way for at least the rest of this year, maybe for another year. We've got a lot of cool sets coming out, but it's hard to get, it's hard to stay focused. It's easy to get lost in what's coming up, and sometimes there's opportunity. And in my opinion, that was a good opportunity to be picking these up. And to be fair, they're still relatively decently priced on secondary market. There's 156 there. That's not too far off the 145 we pay in the UK. So there's still a chance, right? But I have a feeling that was the last chance to pick this product up at a decent price. I think now we're going to be trying to match what's happening in the US market, and I think it's now that was it. In my opinion, I don't think Pokemon have the energy or the time to focus on these types of sets. I mean, they have so many sets, and there's new sets coming out all the time, it seems, and they won't have time. These have been printed enough, right? I think they've aced the demand on Temporal and Paradox since the get-go. They've nailed the demand to print ratio on these sets. And if anything, these two sets have been performing the most normal out of the whole era. And to me, that is exciting in a way, because it means it's stable, right? And I think we're going to see great, stable returns, not astronomical returns, but I think stable returns is fair for these two products. So you could get Paradox you can get it roughly 160s. There's a lot of listings here. Definitely trying to push up the price to the 170 mark. I can see 170 trying to hold on, but I think it's just a matter of time for time to do its thing, work through these products, guys, because I really doubt we see massive reprints for these now. Obviously, they're doing Paldea, I think, is in a recent announcement, but that is not going to touch the market and the sides, really, guys. I mean, the size of these reprints are getting smaller because they have less time to focus on these products, because they keep having to bring out more and more and more products. So that is where sort of Pokemon are at the minute, and that leaves opportunity, right? And these LGSs, they have to raise capital for the next batch of products, and sometimes these things go on sale. Sometimes people don't want them as much, and that is what's going to start happening. Is they're going to let go of these sort of lesser sets to get more allocation for different things, and to keep their allocations. So And by any stretch, guys, these sets are not bad sets. Like I say, they're not bad sets. I mean, Temporal has been doing its thing. In all honesty, I'm pretty impressed with the price action, how they've kept these prices, standing above the $25 mark. These what 7 cards here, and the Gengar is a lovely full art. So, and I think the Metagross is actually one of my favorite pickups to at the minute for a grading play. It's a beautiful card. It's a nice illustration of Metagross in the snow, and I think it is popular, and the graded 10 values are pretty decent, and the margin there is good. So there's definitely some plays in these two sets that I think could work out, and it has that going for it long term, right? Bianca there sleeping, so it has that long term grasp, and it's got some Gengar aspects to it which hold it up definitely. Similar to Paradox, another popular few cards at the top here, Groudon, I still think is going to do very well. It's probably not going to do what Magikarp has done, but I think it might be similar. It might not reach the heights, but guys, it's got everything going for it. Imagine they release a Kyogre similar. I still think that's a play for them. Garchomp, Altaria, great cards. Not so much. I think they could have done way better with the Garchomp, but it's still good. Morpeko, Steelix, minimum and plus all there. We've got some great ones, guys. Magby, another cool one on the volcano. And I think if you have that vision and you have that long term mindset and you do see this in the future, what are these prices going to be? What is someone going to be willing to pay for a Groudon or Roaring Moon special illustration rare? It's interesting to think. And when that supply just gets cut off, which is what I think's just happened, then we're at tipping point, right? We're at pivoting point, changing point. It's going to start really appreciating in value, and it's interesting to see the booster boxes as well. So in America, obviously they're selling for, this is Temporal, selling for 227. In the UK, it's obviously a bit less, probably right 170 roughly pounds. But what's interesting, 6 months, 5 a day, right? Average sold 5 a day. That's decent. It's decent for Temporal. But if you were asking me to pick a set, compare the two, I think I am more Paradox. I think I'm more Paradox, and I think I like to think my opinion's quite general. It's fitting of what the general population think, and I think we agree, right? Paradox is getting sold average in the last 6 months, 10 booster boxes a day compared to the 5 of Temporal. That might mean Temporal, there's less of it in America, and that's why the price is more. But I like this. I really like this throughput of the Paradox demand. The average 10 a day is obviously we had this spike in sort of early March, but apart from that, guys, it's been pretty stable, and that's what I like to see. I like to see volume. I like to see people enjoying the set, volume, and in the future, if that volume stays, there's only so many boxes, right? There's only so many boxes. If you look at some of these last solds, it's been creeping past the 200 mark for a decent while now. But yeah, so it's interesting. We'll see where this goes. But those are my opinions. Obviously, just opinions, no financial advice, guys, as always. However, I think the future's bright for these two sets, and I think that sometimes I can feel the hype leading towards the newer sets, and sometimes things get left to the side, and then it comes back, and suddenly everyone's like, well, how are these £200 a box? They were just 140, they were just 100. I picked my first 2 Paradox booster boxes up for 100 each. I think it's not going to be long until they're 200, and then from there, it's 300, 400. It just keeps going. 3 years out, probably 250 plus for sure, in my opinion. So it's exciting. It's exciting times. I feel the Pokemon hobby has never been stronger. It's definitely the strongest bull market we've ever had, guys. The strongest bull market we've ever had in collectibles. It's a great time to be in the hobby. Obviously, it's harder to get products, but I'm still enjoying the sets. The sets are so good, bro. The artworks are so amazing. The artists are outdoing themselves, and they keep delivering at a high level, and it makes it an interesting time to be in the hobby, guys. So with that, I think I'll call it there. But I hope you enjoyed the update. Let me know down in the comments as always. But I appreciate your time, guys. I will hopefully see you in the next one. See you in a bit.